Tonight, ponying up for your next pint.
It just continues to increase the cost of doing business and the cost that we have to pass on to the consumers.
How much more it's going to cost Canadians with the federal alcohol tax going up once again. Also tonight, what a new report says about the disproportionate levels of violence facing both men and women in Manitoba. Plus, prepare to pay for that vacay.
Everybody wants to be as close to the beach as possible.
What's driving up prices in Manitoba's cottage country?
CTV News. Live from downtown Winnipeg with Marilee Caruso.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. It's no April Fool's Day joke. Beer, wine, and spirits will cost more tomorrow. Every year, the federal government raises the price of booze with a tax increase tied to inflation. The hike this year is expected to be 2%, costing Canadians around $41 million. Standing by live with the details is CTV's Jeff Keel. So, Jeff, will the entire tax increase be passed on to consumers?
That depends. Some say this will trickle down to customers, but some brewers we spoke to say they have to eat it as they can't afford to raise their prices. Everything that goes into making and selling this beer is going up. The ingredients, the packaging, and shipping costs.
It sucks. It is expensive. Everything is more expensive for us to buy. We try not to pass it on to the consumers.
Now, there's another increase coming, an annual tax hike on booze.
Yeah, every time things like that go up, it's more money out of our pocket.
Every April 1st, the federal government raises a tax on beer, wine, and spirits. A 2% hike is expected Wednesday as part of an automatic escalator tax. But brewery and restaurant associations are calling for relief, saying the tax is an additional burden for industries already operating with very thin margins.
It just continues to increase the cost of doing business and the cost that we have to pass on to the consumer, especially from a beverage standpoint of view.
The Manitoba Restaurant and Food Services Association says this hike will cost customers across Canada $41 million. They say the cost of booze is already driving customers away, including younger people who already drink less.
The recreational dollar that the average Manitoban has to go out to a restaurant, they're choosing to spend less in our restaurants. And you're just seeing a lot of restaurants kind of pivot away from alcohol.
But there are those who might welcome the tax increase. For example, on their website, the Canadian Partnership Against Cancer says higher alcohol prices are strongly associated with lower alcohol use. They say pricing and taxes are important policies to curb consumption and harms like cancer. Back at the brewery, Colin Coop says he'll have to gulp down the tax hike himself.
Every time these things go up, we can't really raise the prices of things too much, so it just kind of comes out of the bottom line.
The tax, first introduced in 2017, is tied to inflation. In 2023, it was capped at 2% because of how high inflation was that year.
Jeff, if younger people are drinking less alcohol, what are they turning to?
Coffee, but not the traditional kind. The Manitoba Restaurant and Food Services Association says cold coffee is the largest consumed beverage of young people.
Interesting. All right, thanks for this, Jeff. A Winnipeg criminal defense lawyer is in custody tonight, accused of conspiring to smuggle cannabis into Headingley Correctional Center. Mounties say the investigation began a year ago when corrections officers smelled marijuana at the facility and set out to find out how the substance got in. RCMP were able to identify a suspect and laid charges earlier this month. That person is also accused of conspiring to gain possession of a restricted firearm. RCMP say 43-year-old Chad Sutherland is charged with conspiracy to distribute cannabis, conspiracy to commit mischief, and conspiracy to possess a prohibited or restricted firearm. 2 other people were arrested as part of the investigation last year. None of the charges have been tested in court. And according to a decision by the Law Society of Manitoba, Sutherland was handed an indefinite suspension from the profession and fined $6,000 in February for professional misconduct. He was accused of badgering a former client for money last June, saying he needed to be paid directly for past legal work on her case. Sutherland could not be reached for comment. Meantime, a teacher in the Frontier School Division has been stripped of his certificates after admitting to giving a student cannabis last year. Those details were published in a resolution agreement on the province's teaching registry. It says David Duke admitted to messaging an underage high school student sometime around late September and arranging a meeting with them where he provided a cannabis vape pen and alcohol. An investigation was launched a few months later, which resulted in Duke admitting to the facts of the case and agreeing it constituted professional misconduct. Duke received his teaching certificate in 1995 and was on a leave of absence at the time. 2 people are dead following a crash in eastern Manitoba this morning. It happened on Highway 11 just south of Lac du Bonny. Mounties say it appears a vehicle lost control and was then hit by a pickup truck heading in the opposite direction. Both men in the vehicle, a 71-year-old and a 66-year-old from Lac du Bonny, died. The 71-year-old man driving the pickup truck was uninjured, while the 69-year-old woman in the passenger seat was brought to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The investigation is ongoing, but RCMP say road conditions and heavy snowfall are believed to be factors. The federal government has introduced a $3.8 billion strategy to protect Canada's natural environment, and it includes money for a new protected area here in Manitoba. The plan is to create new national parks and marine conservation areas. The Seal River Watershed National Park Reserve in northern Manitoba is included. It's an area about 50,000 square kilometers just west of Churchill, which is home to at least 25 at-risk species. Today's announcement was made weeks after conservation groups warned federal funding was running out. All right, let's bring in Colleen Brady now and get a first look at your Skywatch evening forecast. Another day of spring snow, Colleen.
Sure, on the very last day of March. Why not send off the month with snow? So we had the snow that came through courtesy of a Colorado low. It ended early this morning out in the southwest, so Brandon enjoyed sunshine for much of the day. Well, we had that snow continuing into the early part of the afternoon before it finally wrung dry here. But cloudy the rest of the day. East into northwestern Ontario, that's where that snow is sitting now in places like Dryden, but it's falling more heavily closer to Thunder Bay. So that system moves on out. We'll have clearer conditions moving on in, but there is another system that will be developing that could be a weather maker. It could affect Manitoba. I know I'm being very cagey with how I'm wording things, but I'll show you why coming up. It's unclear exactly if it's going to make it this far north, but it could. Let's take a look right now through the CTV Live Eye. It's brought to you by Bath Fitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution. How's that for hedging, folks? Well, I'll show you why coming up. -2 degrees right now. It feels like -7 with the wind chill thanks to those winds coming from the north-northwest at 19 kilometers an hour. The pressure's rising and the humidity right now, Marilee, is 78%.
Thanks, Colleen. A warning now, the details in this next story may be upsetting to some. Men in Manitoba experienced disproportionately high levels of physical and sexual assault last year when compared to the rest of the country. This is according to a new survey from Statistics Canada, which also found women in our province reported being sexually assaulted more often than the rest of Canada, but had a lower rate of physical assault. If we break down the numbers even further, we can tell you 6.9% of Manitoba men said they were physically assaulted in 2025. That's nearly 2 points ahead of the national average. Nearly 2 in every 100 said they were sexually assaulted, almost double than the national average. Women in Manitoba were slightly less likely to report being physically assaulted, but they also reported being sexually assaulted at a higher rate, 3.8% compared to the national average of 3.2%. The authors of the report say nearly 15 million people in Canada over the age of 15, which is 44% of the population, have been physically or sexually assaulted in their lifetime. Indigenous women, women with disabilities, as well as lesbian, gay, or bisexual individuals were all at a higher risk of violence. While the snow may still be on the ground, many Manitobans are dreaming of cottage country, but the price of paradise may be becoming a bit more costly. Tonight, a new report from Royal LePage shows recreational property prices are on the rise. CTV's Joseph Bernacki visited the Interlake to find out more.
After 30 years of living in Dunotter, Irene McCaig and her husband Don say it's bittersweet to say goodbye to their piece of paradise.
We've been here since 1996, and it's time to move on and do different things now.
They recently listed their 1,500 square foot Interlake home 3 weeks ago. McCaig says it's already attracting buyers.
Well, it's relaxing. It's cottage, mostly cottage area, but it's changing into long-term buyers year-round.
And the price buyers are willing to offer may be higher than the couple ever imagined years ago.
Prices have gone up substantially over the years just because of the recreation area.
And a new real estate report from Royal LePage confirms what they've heard. Their 2026 spring recreational property price forecast shows median prices are way up in Manitoba. A single-family home increased 4.6% year over year. And if you're by the waterfront, that median price increased 5.7% compared to last year. On top of this, Interlake realtors say there's been steady demand since the pandemic.
Families are just wanting someplace they can go, relax, and start making their own memories. There's no better place to do it than at the lake.
Karen Mashut sells properties on both sides of Lake Winnipeg. She says it took only days to sell this Fraser Wood property. Mashut says the increase in asking price isn't necessarily scaring buyers away.
Everybody wants to be out here, so it's been a strong market. They're a little surprised at right now what they can get for their cottage.
David Conefall and his wife Corey bought this Dunotter cottage just over a year ago. They say they got in at the right time.
I do a 9-kilometer run every day, and I see the signs go up and I see the signs go down. Nothing's for sale for very long.
We're very happy that we bought a few years ago and not trying to get into this market now.
Joseph Bernacki, CTV News, Dunotter.
Changes are coming to some Winnipeg transit routes. The spring schedule changeover starts Sunday, April 12th. It will see longer late night hours on 10 routes across the city. 5 routes where ridership has been larger than expected will have more trips, while 2 others will see fewer runs due to lower ridership. You can find a full rundown of all the route changes on our website. Just go to ctvnewswinnipeg.ca.
I was clobbered by the carnage of the pandemic that I was witnessing in Africa and desperate to do something about it.
The loss of a human rights champion, how Canadian Stephen Lewis is being remembered. Taking a look at the markets tonight, crude oil lost $1.50. The loonie fell to 71.74 cents U.S. Gold futures added $121. The TSX jumped 833 points. The Dow Jones gained more than 1,100 points, while the Nasdaq closed 795 points higher. There could soon be an end to door-to-door mail delivery. Canada Post says it is going along with the restructuring plan mandated by the federal government. In September, Ottawa ordered Canada Post to implement several changes to ensure its survival. This includes converting all remaining door-to-door delivery to community mailboxes, a move the union has been fighting. The deadline for the federal government's controversial gun buyback program is today. The Trudeau government banned assault-style firearms 6 years ago, incentivizing people who owned them to turn them in for cash. But critics call the program a failure. CTV's Judy Trin has more on the deadline and where Ottawa goes from here.
The federal government is missing its target for the voluntary gun buyback program on soon-to-be outlawed weapons. $250 million was set aside to compensate gun owners. So far, 57,000 guns have been declared, much less than the 136,000 firearms the federal government expected. The government blames it on misinformation online that overstates the types of firearms that are included.
There's just 2,500 models that were banned. It leaves 19,000 models on the market, so people can still hunt, can still sport shoot.
The ban on 2,500 models of assault-style weapons came after 22 people were killed in a 2020 shooting rampage in Portapique, Nova Scotia. The government is offering to buy back the weapons for $150 up to more than $10,000, depending on the model. But the process is confusing for some.
The average demographic of the owners of these firearms is over 65 years of age, and their ability to navigate online portals is not very good. And they're having a very difficult time adhering to the to the procedures the government's put in place for this.
Alberta and Saskatchewan don't support the federal program, and most police services across the country will not help collect the firearms. The National Gun Lobby is also mounting a legal challenge.
I worry about the enormous waste of resources and efforts on this program that could have instead been focused on reducing crime, violence, gun smuggling.
The ban on assault-style weapons takes effect at the end of October. The Supreme Court of Canada has also agreed to hear the appeal launched by the Canadian Coalition for Firearms Rights, but the court has yet to set a date. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Canada's largest air carrier has been fined more than $420,000 for violating rules on passenger rights during the flight attendant strike last summer. More than 10,000 flight attendants walked off the job last August, disrupting thousands of flights across the country. The Canadian Transportation Agency says Air Canada committed more than 70 violations during that period, including failing to refund passengers or rebook them on available flights. The carrier is contesting the penalty, calling it unfounded in law. The Iran war is rattling oil markets with another jaw-dropping increase at the pumps. And in Canada, some regions are feeling it more than others. CTV's Paul Hollingsworth explains.
Gas is up 7.1 cents a litre in Halifax, more than 8 cents on PEI, with even bigger jumps for diesel in both provinces.
I'm leaving my truck in the yard.
Analyst Carol Montroy says the war in Iran is having a direct impact on the price of raw materials and crude oil. The result is a crushing reality for Canadian consumers.
Many jurisdictions in Canada now are above $1.90 a litre, and even Vancouver is above $2 a litre.
According to Montroy, with a prolonged war now feared, oil and gas markets are responding with extreme volatility, affecting supply and cost.
When this crisis started, Paul, we were talking about the key theme, which was trying to avoid escalation. Unfortunately, what we're seeing in the Middle East now is an escalation. This was supposed to be, according to President Trump, a conflict that would have lasted a couple weeks. We're now past a month.
The spike in fuel prices is also impacting the overall economy. The owner of this coffee shop says his operating expenses are now sitting at all-time highs.
We're in the coffee business. We're in the milk business because we serve a lot of lattes. So, yeah, it's unfortunate. I'm not sure if there's going to be an end in sight.
Commuter Jim Jackson is so fed up with the price of gas, he's now driving a newly purchased hybrid car.
Fuel prices obviously play a factor.
Montroy has a warning. As long as the war rages on, Canadians should brace for more bad news.
The trend is not good, and it's a direct relation with what's happening in the Middle East now around the Hormuz Strait.
Carol Montroy does not like to make predictions when it comes to price increases for gas, but he's not afraid to manage expectations. He says if this war continues, possibly long term, there could be gas price increases well into the summer season. Paul Hollingsworth, CTV News, Halifax.
The Canadian government is condemning the Israeli occupation of southern Lebanon, calling it illegal.
It's a violation of their territorial sovereignty, integrity, sovereignty. And the point I was making as well, from a practical perspective, the government of Lebanon has banned Hezbollah. It's taking action, is trying to take action against Hezbollah and their terrorist activities and their threats to Israel, and that is the purported justification for this invasion.
Mark Carney is also calling for a ceasefire. The Israelis invaded after Hezbollah began launching missiles into northern Israel 2 days after Iran was attacked. Many Lebanese now fear another prolonged military occupation. One of Canada's most well-known human rights advocates has died after a battle with cancer. For more than 2 decades, former Ontario NDP leader Stephen Lewis worked with the United Nations to draw attention to the severity of the AIDS epidemic in Africa and around the globe. He was 88 years old. CTV's Annie Bergeron Oliver has more on his life and legacy.
A passionate and determined humanitarian, Stephen Lewis never hesitated to speak his mind.
What kind of a world do we live in where the life of an African child or an Asian child is worth so much less than the life of a Canadian child?
After dropping out of law school in the 1960s, Lewis moved to Africa and became a lifelong advocate for the region, committed to improving the lives of those struggling through the HIV and AIDS epidemic.
You witness it, and you experience a kind of simultaneous spasm of helplessness and anger and resolve.
His dedication led to more than 2 decades with the United Nations, serving in positions from Canada's UN ambassador to deputy director of UNICEF.
Congratulations.
And a UN special envoy for AIDS in Africa.
I cannot remember in my entire adult life scenes of such unendurable human desolation. It was heartbreaking.
Lewis was immersed in politics from a young age.
There isn't a law on the statute books of this country that doesn't carry the imprint of the CCF and the NDP.
His father, David Lewis, served as the National Secretary of the Canadian Commonwealth Federation, or CCF. When his dad was leading the federal New Democrats, he was leading the party in Ontario. And decades later, just days before his death, Lewis's son Avi would go on to become the federal NDP leader.
There's something almost quaint in the Russians investigating the NDP.
Stephen Lewis's debating skills, compassion, and his honesty gained him widespread respect at home and abroad.
What we have been suggesting is an agenda of work for Ontario. An agenda of work which implies a shared government and a shared leadership which the people of this province seem to be conveying to the politicians.
A life of leadership that will live on through the continued work of the Stephen Lewis Foundation, a nonprofit that since 2003 has helped provide care for women, children, and communities suffering from AIDS and HIV.
I was clobbered by the carnage of the pandemic that I was witnessing in Africa and desperate to do something about it in a concrete way. And thus the foundation was formed.
A legacy of bringing attention to the plight of those less fortunate and forgotten. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
Buckingham Palace says King Charles will make a state visit to the United States in late April. Buckingham Palace says the King and Queen will visit to mark the 250th anniversary of American independence. The royal couple will then head to Bermuda. The visit comes amid tensions between the U.S. and the U.K. over Britain's reluctance to get involved in the war against Iran.
It's immensely complicated. It is the most powerful rocket that's ever been built.
The countdown is on for a mission around the moon. The challenges facing the astronauts and engineers before launch.
Well, at this point, it looks like flurries are likely on Thursday during the day in Winnipeg. To start off the long-range forecast, a high of 1 degree, down to -4 that night. Now, I'll have more details coming out about the possibility of that approaching weather system I mentioned earlier and how that could change things. But for the time being, Friday, Good Friday, of course, 3 degrees, mostly cloudy, sunshine Saturday, +3 on Easter Sunday, Easter Monday, clouding back over with a high of 0.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
It was all smiles and cheers in Gimli this afternoon as the community came out to celebrate a hometown hero. Fans gathered at Gimli's Ford dealership to celebrate Carrie Ainerson's successful curling season. She was joined by second Shannon Burchard as the pair signed autographs and posed for pictures.
They're darn good. They are very, very good.
We have 2 national treasures, Carrie Ainerson and Crown Royal.
All small communities are like that. They all come together to support one another, and you know, there's quite a few good curlers that come out of Gimli, and you know, you got Colton, you got Kadrian a lot. Like, there's a few of us, and they support us throughout our journey, and it's been very, very special.
Anderson won silver at the World Women's Curling Championships earlier this month and notched her 5th national championship at the Scotties Tournament of Hearts in February. The team also finished 3rd at the Canadian Olympic Trials in February. Well, it was a nail-biter finish for Matt Dunstone this morning over at the Men's World Curling Championships.
Lot with the line call. Now, curl now, get it over. Here we go. Can you touch this over and sit down for 4? And yes, you can sit down.
The Winnipeg-based rink won its 3rd straight with an 8-4 win over China. Those two teams were tied heading into the 8th end, but as you just saw there, Dunstone managed to get 4 points with his final rock for the win. Team Canada improved to 5-2, managing a tie with Scotland for 3rd place. Dunstone's team is back in action tonight for a showdown against the 7-0 team from Sweden. Well, don't look now, but the Winnipeg Jets are just 3 points out of a playoff spot, and the team is looking to keep pace tonight against the Chicago Blackhawks.
Super skilled team. They play good structure as well. They check hard and good special teams. I know their PK is really good, so we gotta be sharp tonight.
The Jets are coming off a big 4-2 win over the NHL best Colorado Avalanche Saturday. The victory boosted Winnipeg's record to 9-4-4 since the Olympic break. They still need to leapfrog 4 teams, though, for the wild card spot, and forward Jonathan Toews says they are up to the challenge.
I think we just feel we're clicking better as a team. Obviously, there's always areas in your game that you think you can improve. Like right now, we love our power play to start contributing a little bit more. But other than that, we're getting goal scoring, we're getting great killing. Goaltending's been great as always. So it's nice to be playing really meaningful hockey right now. And I feel like as a team, we have a lot of confidence that we're peaking at the right time.
The Jets have won 2 of 3 against the Blackhawks this season. Connor Hellebuck will likely get the start in net. Puck drop from the Windy City is 7:30 local time.
The Hockey Report, brought to you by Santa Lucia Pizza. Check out the game day special. CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
All right, Colleen Brady is back to tell us more about this snow system that could potentially impact us here in Manitoba.
I know I'm really hedging here, folks, but for good reason. And no, this is not an April Fool's Day joke. I wish it was, but I wouldn't do that to you. First of all, we had that Colorado low that brought snow to southern Manitoba yesterday and into today. As I mentioned earlier, Brandon, it wrapped up this morning, so there's been a lot of sunshine in that area today. We stayed on the cloudy side once that snow wrapped up here in Winnipeg. It moved off to the east. It's still falling in Dryden. That won't last for too much longer. So while we have the sky clearing out, we have high pressure building in. We've got that low that's going to push right on out. It's still falling, as I mentioned, in Dryden, falling heavier in Thunder Bay, but that snow is just going to continue to push off further into Ontario. But as it moves on out, we've got that higher pressure building in. So while the sky will be clearing, we will have winds that will be easing up too. You couple those things with the fresh layer of precipitation that we have now across the south, and you have all the fixins, if you will, for fog to develop overnight across southern Manitoba and into Wednesday morning, which could impact the commute. For areas further to the north, a little bit of flurries or some light snow will sort of cross parts of northern Manitoba, not much of note. Fairly cloudy for areas closer to the international border. We've got this snow that looks like it will stay to the south. Now, as we get into the early hours of Thursday, Environment Canada says this low pressure system is going to develop on the other side of the international border. The question is, how far into southeastern parts of the prairies on our side of the border is this snow and precipitation, other types of precipitation, going to travel? Unclear at this point, but it could potentially impact the Easter long weekend here in the southeast. But we'll have a better sense of that as we get closer to it. It's just the confidence in the models is just not, it's not there yet. They're not agreeing enough. But something's a brewing. -14 is our low for tonight, though. Fog will likely develop overnight here in Winnipeg as those winds ease up and the sky clears, as I mentioned. We have that snow here in the city. The potential continues for fog for the commute tomorrow morning, so do watch out for that. Otherwise, it should be fairly cloudy. Winds out of the east at 10 kilometers an hour. A cloudy high tomorrow afternoon of 1 degree. That's still below normal. Winds shifting tomorrow afternoon. They'll come more out of the southeast at 20 kilometers an hour. Best chance of flurries tonight up in the northeast is around Churchill, down to -19 there. But Gillam, Island Lake and Thompson, you can't rule out flurries entirely. Thompson drops to -12. Chance of flurries in Thompson tomorrow, a greater chance for Gillam and Churchill. Churchill, you may get some sun in the morning, a high in the afternoon of -12 degrees. In the northwest tonight, flurries likely for Lynn Lake both tonight and tomorrow. You drop down to -10 there overnight. Flin Flon, Ocean, the Paw, Norway House and Norway House Cree Nation. Just a few clouds around those areas tonight. Mix of sun and cloud for most areas tomorrow. Although Flin Flon, there's a lesser chance of some flurries, but it's still possible. Otherwise, some sun there. Varying amounts of cloud overnight across the southwest, but fog is possible right around the region. All these areas, look at this. Brandon, Ipoh, Dauphin and Swan River, -14, -15. Cloudy in Brandon tomorrow and -1. Dauphin, same temperature, -1. Just the sky will be a little brighter. Fog expected overnight here in the southeast. Overnight lows between -10 and -12. Cloudy tomorrow with highs of either 0 or 1 degree. And in northwestern Ontario, again, that snow falling now in Dryden. That will end this evening. Sunshine there tomorrow along with Kenora. A little windy in Kenora too. Fort Frances cloudy with a high of 2 degrees. Our first weather photo is from Sharon. This is a really nice photo. This is looking out onto Lake Winnipeg, still frozen there. That is from her perspective near Riverton. And look at this pair. They're just enjoying the snow while it lasts. They're waiting for spring, too. That is from Shannon here in Winnipeg in the Island Lakes area. Send us your weather photos to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Thanks, Colleen. Well, we are just under 24 hours before the next launch window opens for the Artemis II mission. It will blast Canada's Jeremy Hansen and 3 other astronauts around the moon and back. And if all goes according to plan this time, the crew will take off tomorrow night. CTV's Heather Wright is at Cape Canaveral to witness history and the lead up to it.
With every second that passes, the Artemis II gets closer to liftoff.
There was a lot of smiles today, so felt really good about that. As the team is preparing, I think everybody's pretty excited and understands the significance of this launch.
The team has spent the day doing a number of final checks to the spacecraft, which will soon embark on a 10-day mission around the moon, while the astronauts, including Canadian Jeremy Hansen, remain in quarantine, waiting for tomorrow's planned launch.
He'll be spending time with people who are really close to him, family, and he's probably going to be going to bed really early and sleep shifting so that they can get on the schedule they'll be on for this moon mission. Now, whether or not he'll be successful, I don't know. Do you think you'd be able to sleep if you were going to the moon the next morning?
Joshua Kutrick is a Canadian astronaut who says a lot needs to go right for a successful liftoff tomorrow.
It's immensely complicated. It is the most powerful rocket that's ever been built, and it's full of millions of high-tech components. So technologically, this is a very big challenge.
And the challenges are only going to grow, with NASA unveiling ambitious plans for space exploration, including a moon base by 2030.
I think of this as just the opening chapter in a grand story of astronauts going to and from the moon with great frequency.
To achieve those goals, NASA Administrator Jarek Isaacman says collaborating with international partners like Canada will be critical.
Canada is leaning forward with robotic expertise for our ambitions on the lunar surface. It's exciting to think about the potential when you're not just going to the moon for a couple of days, but actually trying to create an enduring presence for, its scientific and economic potential.
Canada's partnership with NASA dates back decades, with Hansen set to become the first non-American to travel to deep space.
It is space diplomacy, and Jeremy is emblematic of that.
Absolutely.
He brings a huge, powerful capability, but it's also the whole country and our industrial capabilities, what we bring to the table. That's why we're here.
The launch window officially opens at 6:24 p.m. tomorrow. And while officials say there is an 80% chance of favorable weather, these strong winds and cumulus clouds are in the forecast, something NASA's weather officer will be keeping a close eye on as we get closer to liftoff. Heather Wright, CTV News, Cape Canaveral, Florida.
We all know chocolate tastes great, but now new research shows eating some may offer real benefits. We'll tell you how dark chocolate affects your overall health after the break. After years of planning and preparation, Artemis II is now just 1 day from launch, marking the first crewed mission to the moon in more than 50 years. And joining me now to talk all about it is planetarium astronomer at the Manitoba Museum, Scott Young. Scott, great to speak with you.
Yeah, you too.
Maybe first just explain the goal of this mission for us.
Well, Artemis II will take 4 astronauts from Earth out to test the Orion spacecraft, the first time that's ever been done, and then it will loop around the moon, get a nice close-up view of the moon, and then come back and land safely on Earth on about a 10-day mission to basically take the first step going back to the moon.
Yeah, why are we doing this now?
Well, it's a good question. Back in the 60s and 70s, there was the big race to the moon, and it was done in a way to just sort of get there and make the check mark as quickly as possible without any thought of the future, of being able to do it sustainably or regularly or where you could go from there. It was kind of just a competition. Now we've had, 25 years of experience with the space station and all sorts of things going on in space there. We are setting our sights on, going to the moon, going to Mars and things like that. The moon's a great place to practice all of the kinds of skills that we would need to go on to other planets. And so it's sort of like your backyard practice, essentially.
How safe is this mission? Are there any concerns?
Well, I mean, going into space is never completely safe. You're basically riding a gigantic controlled explosion into orbit, and as soon as you get out beyond the Earth's atmosphere, everything is trying to kill you. The lack of air, the lack of pressure, the temperature, it's a nasty place. So everything has to go right, and so there's a lot of planning and a lot of safety margin that's built into things, especially when you have a spacecraft that has people on it. If you're sending robots, maybe you can be a little bit less concerned, but when there's a human crew on board, the safety is a major thing. It's still got a bit of a risk, though, but it's one of those things that is just part of the job for these astronauts.
This mission has been delayed several times already. What are the chances it doesn't go ahead as planned tomorrow?
Well, it is a test flight, and because of that, they want to make sure that everything is going to be lined up properly. Now, the weather is good, the technology is good. They had some issues a couple of months ago where they were having some leaks. Those have all been fixed. Everything looks like it's okay, but you could still have, a random thunderstorm come in towards Florida and cancel things, or you could still have a technical glitch that comes up. They do have 6 different days in a row that they could try, though. So if something does go wrong on the 1st, they can try again on the 2nd, all the way through to the 6th. And then if they still don't get off the ground by then, there's another window of opportunity that opens up right at the end of April going into May. So it should... I'm feeling good about it, though. They've solved a lot of the issues. They've got a lot of the things ready to go, and I think we're going to be going this week.
A little extra excitement for Canadians as well, because we have a Canadian astronaut on board. That's kind of special for us in our space program.
Yeah, absolutely. We've always flown our astronauts with the American space program as partners, and Jeremy Hansen is on the Artemis mission. This is a bit of a surprise because, well, not a surprise now, but it was a surprise when it was announced, because usually the first few missions are all Americans. With the space shuttle, that was all the case and so on, and Canadians and other nationalities didn't fly until later. But here you've basically got a Canadian right on the very first flight of the spacecraft. That's pretty special. And of course it's going out to the distance of the moon, so it's not just going up into orbit and spending some time within a few hundred kilometers of our planet. Jeremy will be the most traveled Canadian in history at this point when he loops around the moon.
Well, we will all be eagerly watching when that first launch window opens tomorrow. Scott, thanks so much for your time tonight. Great speaking with you.
You too, Merle.
If you have any HelloFresh meal kits, you're going to want to check them carefully. Cheese ingredients in some of the kits have been recalled because of possible listeria contamination. The recall covers HelloFresh meal kits with shredded Parmesan cheese, cheese curds, feta cheese, goat cheese, and mozzarella. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency says food contaminated with listeria may not look or smell spoiled, but can still make you sick. Symptoms include vomiting, persistent fever, muscle aches, headache, and neck stiffness. In severe cases of illness, people can die. If you have any of the recalled products, they should be thrown out or returned to the location where they were purchased. A University of Waterloo study is outlining how North American air quality could deteriorate by the end of the century unless steps are taken to address climate change. The study, which focuses on the U.S., suggests 1 in 3 Americans could be breathing unhealthy summer air by 2100 if no real action is taken. This represents a 7-fold increase compared to the start of this century. In a worst-case scenario, the study says young children, the elderly, and other sensitive groups could be alerted to stay inside every other summer day. Well, here's some sweet news for chocolate lovers. Some new research finds dark chocolate may have real health benefits. In a study of more than 1,600 adults, higher levels of a natural cocoa compound were linked to signs of slightly slower aging based on a series of DNA tests. Experts say this doesn't necessarily mean eating chocolate slows aging, but it does add to growing research showing cocoa compounds can offer positive health effects. Past studies suggest dark chocolate and cocoa are good for the heart and improve vascular health, including circulation and blood pressure. Other research suggests cocoa may help raise good cholesterol and support brain function and memory, especially as we age. But experts are reminding you chocolate is still a treat. It contains sugar, fat, and a lot of calories, so moderation matters.
Medical Watch is brought to you by Manuke and Koster Denture Clinic.
When I was a kid, I wanted to be 2 people, Eddie Murphy and Will Smith. Now, Eddie Murphy. You know?
And Jay Farrow achieved his dream. We'll tell you when the popular comedian is set to perform here in Winnipeg. Spotlight is next.
Spotlight sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting Tim Hicks, the Going Somewhere Tour.
Jay Farrow is ready to make you laugh and is bringing his concert series to Winnipeg.
When I was a kid, I wanted to be 2 people, Eddie Murphy and Will Smith. Now, Eddie Murphy. You know what I'm saying?
The SNL alum will be performing at Rumors Comedy Club this summer. He's known for his spot-on impressions of celebrities like Denzel Washington and Barack Obama. Farrow has also starred in Netflix Resort to Love and ABC's Million Little Pieces. You have 3 chances to see the comedian. He will be performing at Rumors July 23rd through the 25th. Tickets are on sale now on the venue's website. Well, grab your popcorn because the Winnipeg International Jewish Film Festival is returning this spring for its 25th year.
Did you babysit? Your mom found a guy to help me with the girls.
Oh, no, that's a terrible idea. Would that be right for a patient?
You're functional.
That's Fantasy Life, a story about an anxious law school dropout who ends up babysitting his psychiatrist granddaughters and falling for their mother. It will be shown on the opening night, May 6th. It's one of 24 films being shown during the 2-week festival, which includes documentaries, rom-coms, features, and so much more. Most of the showings are happening at the Barney Theatre over at the Asper Jewish Communities campus. You can find all details and tickets by visiting radyjcc.com. We'll say hello to the newest member of the DC superhero universe.
Crypto and I at least had each other. Honestly, I thought we were lucky. But luck, almost by definition, runs out.
The first full trailer was just released for Supergirl. In it, we see pieces of Supergirl's origins before she arrived on Earth and how she gets caught up in an interstellar journey for justice. Australian actress Millie Alcock stars as the titular character, alongside Eve Ridley, Matthias Schoenaerts, Jason Momoa, and more. Supergirl is set to hit theaters June 26th. Coming up tonight on your primetime lineup, Will Trent kicks things off at 7, Catch High Potential at 8, RJ Decker comes next at 9, and Best Medicine, that's how you say it, it wraps the night up at 10. It, of course, is all right here tonight on CTV.
It was nice to see them all dressed up and to see their reactions.
A special session, how a Manitoba photographer is helping seniors feel like royalty.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
Tonight, the lasting legacy of Stephen Lewis.
Scenes of such unendurable human desolation.
Why Lewis dedicated his life to the relentless pursuit of justice. Later on CTV National News and watch on Crave.
Well, we're getting some sunshine downtown, -2 degrees. Winds coming out of the north-northwest at 19 kilometers an hour, so that's giving a wind chill that makes it feel more like -7. Winnipeg, along with most of Manitoba, very similar temperatures today. Our high temperature was -2, our coldest was -5. 1983 rather. Very, very warm that day, closing in on 20 degrees. Not quite, but not too far off. Fog expected to develop overnight. We could see that last into the commute on Wednesday morning. Cloudy the rest of the day, 1 degree. Flurries Thursday, Good Friday. Cloudy there for most of the day.
Thanks, Colleen. A Manitoba photographer is helping seniors feel like kings and queens.
You dressed up, you look like a goddess, you look like a queen, you look like royalty.
That's the goal of photographer Janessa Kohler's Goddess Project. Over 2 days in February, she photographed 32 residents at Patel Home in Gimli. Each one of them donned crowns, tiaras, jewels, and a bunch more. The seniors were not able to look in a mirror until the camera started clicking, and the reaction was priceless.
For the most part, most of the expressions were flabbergasted, amazed, definitely in awe of themselves that they could even look like that. A lot of them didn't even recognize themselves.
Kohler says some of the seniors even took on the role, playing up for the camera, such as Anna, who, by the way, turned 103 yesterday. Happy birthday, Anna.
Happy birthday.
Yesterday, Kohler plans to present each king and queen that you're seeing on your screen with a framed portrait from the session at a special event in early April. She also hopes to host more of these photo shoots to bring more seniors into focus in the future. I love it.
Great effort. Yeah.
All right, have a great evening. We hope to see you back here tomorrow.